Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Blade, Part 4. And while I can tell you there is absolutely nothing in the world that I would love to see on the big screen more than Old Man Blade. Stop, pause, just think about that. All these old man characters that exist out there. Imagine Dr. Wesley Snipes returning Old Man Blade. Resume. Whew. In the meantime, we got this. And I'm going to say that this is pretty damn good. Let's talk about who made this comic book. Let's move on from there. Brian Hill is the writer. Yes, I know he is the man who should have three names, but for some reason, he only wants to do the two. I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to move on. We have a switch in the artists here. While Elena Casagrande is usually top billing, here it is Valentina Pinti is top billing, with Elena taking the more minor role on this. And you can very much tell the difference on the art here. KJ Diaz doing the colors, and VC's Corey Petit on letters. Casagrande and Jordi Belair doing the cover art. A couple of variant covers out there. Looks like three. Looks like three. Okay, so let's get shaking, bacon. So we've basically got vampiric Snowpiercer. I love it. It's a train made of adamantium. Rarely slows to below 180 miles per hour. This is, I can tell you this, it's more Snowpiercer than it is Speed 2. That's for damn sure. All right. There are not very many times when I say that a Blade story needs to breathe. Because with Blade, he is a hard hitting, Action Jackson kind of character. Rip a man's arm off. How dare you do that? Psh, he had a spare. That's what I'm talking about. All right. By the way, where's Vanity? Anyway, actually, God rest her soul, man. She was, wow. I was so in love with that woman when I was younger. Y'all need to look up Action Jackson, look up Vanity, look up Bruce Leroy and the Last Dragon. Oh, that girl was just amazing. Anyway, so on this, I want to know more about this train. I want to know more about this. If this is the last time we ever see this train in the course of comic book history, that would be a grave insult to amazing stories. Well, at least stories with amazing potential. All right? Shoot. Like, wow, I need to know more about what else is on this train. Was this train in other stories? I don't know. But man, I am loving this. What a great concept. A train made of adamantium. Like, I want to know more. Like, were there magic spells on it so that for the most part people don't see it? People get hit and slaughtered by the train crossing, and other people are just like, what? Oh, must have been a bear attack because this is in the middle of nowhere. Somebody comes along, you don't see the railroad tracks? Are you crazy? There's no railroad tracks here. I would love to explore this more deeply, to explore this deeper, to get deeper into the exploration of this. Holy crap, man, this defies the English language. So I'm really hung up on the idea of this. I really want more of this stupid train. Hell, make a series about this train for all I care. This is awesome. But there are a lot of magical items on there. Doctor Strange is able to get them onto the train. I like the idea that only the Sorcerer Supreme could get people onto the train. Otherwise, this just seems like a silly little, choo-choo. Might as well have a big Thomas the Train engine face on the front. But Blade has to work through here. And man, this is what I mean by very rarely does a Blade story need to breathe. But this could have been several issues. This could have been at least two issues, man. Like, the idea that Blade has to go from train car to train car sounds like level to level on a video game to me. Is it just me? This is wow. Like, there is so much potential to do with something like this. I love it. I absolutely love it. I enjoyed this comic book, man, but it is Hill getting straight to the point and just killing it. Like, Blade goes through the other way to go with this, instead of level by level each thing gets harder and more difficult. There's this, this room has this trap in it, this room has this problem in it, this room has this mini boss in it, and things like that. Hey man, I'm cool. You don't have to do Game of Death with everything, but I feel like you really could have and should have with this. Instead, what Hill does is he has Blade encounters several vampires in this, and he just mauls through them like they're nothing. Because at the end of the day, I can see this approach, right? You can't do it all the time with Blade, but in some ways you can, much like with the Blade movies. A regular vampire just ain't going to do jack squat. It ain't going to do diddly to my man's Blade. This dude is going to just, boom, beat the living crap out of you and punch you in the face with a pair of brass knuckles. This is Eric right across the front. He would do Brooks on the other end, but like there's not enough knuckles for that one because that's his real name. Some of you guys maybe don't know Eric Brooks, Blade. What happened? There was a part in here. There was something that did annoy me. There's a part in here where it said something about Blade was better off being the mayor or the sheriff of that vampire city. I seem to remember that from something, but I can't recall it. And you know what would have come good in that? Well, we're going to turn this over to our sponsor, the Asterix. That's right. This week, this video, we are sponsored by the Asterix, the old editorial notes. You remember back in the day when you used to read comic books and some thing would be referenced in comic book history and there'd be a little yellow box at the bottom and an asterisk after the thing that was said. So you'd know, oh, this asterisk corresponds with this asterisk, and it would tell me a comic book. And there'd be a quippy little, hey, like, Roaring Roy Thomas pointed this out. Or, Smiling Stan Lee pointed this one out, right? Or, I don't know, Hellacious Herb Trimpe pointed this one. Just what is something along those lines. It could have been Bodacious Brian Hill. It could have been anything, man. Boom. Little editor's note down there to point out this is where this story comes from. I'm referencing this story. So that if you can't get enough of Blade, go off on the Marvel app or go to your local comic book store. Go someplace. Keep walking east till your hat floats. That'll be a really long walk if you're on the West Coast. But my point is, it's a saying in New York, all right? New Jersey, New York. But anyway, what a great moment that would have been for a little asterisk with an editor's note attached. And now I return you back to our comic book. I'm not so sure how much I like the idea that this main vampire on here just kind of deleted himself. He deleted himself. Asterisk note, bringing that over to Matt Hardy doing his wrestling skit of broken Matt Hardy. See, that makes sense, right? But I do like the idea that Blade got the sword, and he's now facing off against the Adana. At the end of the day, while Hill could have gone multiple different directions, he chose to keep true to the Blade character in that, yes, he's going to come across threats, but at the end of the day, he's going to get through all of those threats and seek out the greater threat. Now, if he just bowls through the Adana, I'm going to be a little annoyed by this. But at the same time, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen exactly that, but here's what I'm afraid of. Strange said something that kind of scared me a little bit. He says, scared me for the beautiful telling of this story. He said, you go and take care of the Adana. I'm going to help you out, but in my own way. Way that only I can help you out. So it kind of feels like at some point there's going to be a Deus Ex Machina moment in here. For those of you who are not familiar with the term in brevity, it means God will come down and intercede. All right? Like, oh no, the heroes are trapped, surrounded by enemies. Who knows what's going to happen? Oh, look, here comes the hand of God in some way, shape, or form or another. A tsunami that only affects the bad guys. A tsunami because, like, Aquaman is surrounded and he can't breathe well, and a tsunami comes and takes out his enemies and only strengthens Aquaman to be able to go and save the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I'm saying. So, a safe falls out of the sky, a piano falls out of a New York City window and just boom lands on the bad guy, saving the day. So that's Deus Ex Machina. Um, I'm afraid that something like that might happen. That's going to save the day. And it won't actually be Blade who saves the day. But Hill is great in the way that he uses these characters. He really understands these characters, man, and nobody can take that away from him. Nobody. Doctor Strange comes in there, this cockiest son of a gun in all of the Marvel universe. Nobody's more cocky than him. Like the Living Tribunal is more humble than Doctor Strange, bro. I'm saying, from Living Tribunal's first appearance, all right, he's more humble than Doctor Strange is, and Strange is just like, yeah, what's up? I see some post latent sexual tension between you and this chick, and some weird fraternal vibes over here with this one, and Blade's just like, yeah, I think you figured that out pretty well. Nothing gets to Blade, right? He's got both of these characters. Hell has both of these characters on lock. Love it. Absolutely love it. I want to see more of this. I would like to see sometimes like certain parts of a story really should breathe, or at least, honestly, it's more Hill style probably. Just return to something. Don't abandon this train thing. Please don't abandon this train. I love this train. I really hope this train comes back in a later story in a really major way. I would love to see that, dude. This is so amazing. Anyway, guys, it's funny that to me the train is the most awesome part of this whole story. There's so much you could do with that. But I love the way that Blade and Doctor Strange are being handled in this. If there are problems with a story that maybe you don't appreciate, it's always helpful when you can be like, yeah, the story could be a little bit better, but man, he's got these characters down to a T. And he does. So I'm digging on that. At the very least, you could say that. Anyway, guys, enjoy the story, like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.